What's up, YouTube? This is your boy John from the Jersey Shore, and I am back with you today to give you my review of the 2014 film, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. It's hot as hell in there. The Town That Dreaded Sundown was written by Roberto Aguiar Sacasa. It was directed by Alfonso Gomez-Reyon, starring Addison Timlin, Joshua Leonard, Travis Tope, Gary Cole, and Anthony Anderson. This movie begins at a drive-in, and it is everybody there is watching The Town That Dreaded Sundown. That was a movie that was made in 1976, and that is based on a series of murders that took place in 1946. Our main character, Jamie, doesn't enjoy this movie, and she wants to get out of there. So her and her boyfriend go parking to go do you-know-what. And while they're over there, she spots somebody in the woods looking at them. And the person who was in the woods looking at them looks exactly like the Phantom, who was the person who was the killer in the 1946 murders. They never found the Phantom. He always remained a mystery. But now she sees him standing in the woods looking right at her. And if it ain't him, it's just somebody who's dressed exactly like him. So this killer, this look-alike Phantom killer, actually murders the boyfriend. However, Jamie, she does sustain some injuries, but she does make it. She gets away, and she actually winds up crawling underneath of the drive-through screen where all the cars in the front row spot her, and she is taken to safety. This movie takes place in Texarkana, and I find it to be very strange that it almost seems like they celebrate these Phantom killings from 1946. Everybody gathers every year annually at this drive-in, and they watched this movie that was created in 1976. I just found it very strange that this town would be celebrating such a gruesome incident. Typically, you would think that a town would want to put this out of their memory and put it in their past, but not this place. These guys are ready to party. There's a preacher out there saying that these murders were real and that it was terrible and they shouldn't be celebrating these events. There's people walking around out there with t-shirts that say The Town That Dreaded Sundown with the image of the Phantom on the front. They're out there smoking weed, they're drinking. It literally is like a big party celebrating murders that took place in 1976. Or excuse me, 1946. So the next couple we see, a guy comes home from the military. I guess he's home for the holidays on leave. And he meets up with his girlfriend, and they go to a hotel so that they can do some catching up. And after they're done catching up, he runs out of the room to go get something out of a vending machine. And while he's out, the girl stays back in the room. Well, she looks out the window, and he actually has the dude from the military. He's got his head, and he starts banging the severed head on the window. Eventually, he breaks through the window. She locks herself in the bathroom, and while she's in there, she breaks out a window, and she jumps out the window and goes down a flight. And when she lands, she compound fractures her shin. Her shin sticks out the side of her leg, and she runs to their car. So once she gets to the car, the killer comes up. He gets in the passenger side door, and he brutally murders this girl. You don't see anything up close, but you see blood. You see his motions with the knife, and you see blood splattering all over all the windows, the windshield, the back window. It's pretty grisly. So now Jamie and one of her friends are attending a vigil that's being held in town for the latest victims of the Phantom killer. So while they're having this vigil, everybody's looking at Jamie because she knows that she got away, that she was almost also a victim of the Phantom killer. And while everybody's looking at her, in the background you see somebody walking up, and it's the Phantom killer. So as he's approaching, one of the military dudes that's there pulls out his gun and takes him out. And when they pull his mask back, it's revealed that the killer is actually one of the kids that you saw earlier in the film at the drive-in. So the next scene in the movie, you see two of the dudes that were playing music in the band at the vigil, leaving the vigil, and they're told, go straight home. Unfortunately, these guys do not go straight home. They go park in some field somewhere where you see a bunch of what appears to be like parade floats or amusement park rides or old billboards. It's just a whole bunch of stuff out in this field. The next thing you know, one of the kids in the car spots the Phantom killer walking towards them. They try and get away. Unfortunately for them, they don't make it. But what this proves is the kid that they killed back at the vigil was in fact not the Phantom Killer. So there are some pretty cool effects in this movie too. You see a cop get shot in the eye. It's actually pretty close up. You get a pretty good shot of that taking place. You see a woman who's hanging in a field like a scarecrow. Actually, she's hung up there. She's put in place of a scarecrow that was previously there. And you also see another dude who's cut up in pieces and laid on the railroad tracks. The practical effects in this one were pretty good. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was shot very well. One thing that it definitely does is it makes me want to go back and watch the movie that was made in 1976. I've already looked online and I can get that on Amazon, so I certainly will be doing that. Probably in the next couple weeks I'll be ordering that thing. But back to this movie, as far as this movie is concerned, it's shot very well. It's very well acted. There's not a lot of big names in this movie. Anthony Anderson he's probably the biggest name in the movie, but he's not in it very much. This is definitely before he gained a lot of popularity with Blackish. And another thing that I really liked about this movie, especially, as a horror movie fan, you get some very brutal, violent murders in this movie. I would definitely say that there's some I would absolutely say that there are certainly a few cringe-worthy moments in this movie. One thing that most people do not talk about when they do movie reviews is the lighting. The lighting in this movie, I thought actually it was almost like a character in the movie. You see a lot of things coming out of shadows. The way things are lit, it almost gives it like an old grainy look to it. You can see a lot of scenes where you can see half of the screen but the other half is shadow. I thoroughly enjoyed the lighting in this movie. I thought it was outstanding. There ain't never enough props given to the lighting department. And to cap it all off, you get a really cool reveal at the end. I can't wait to get my hands on that 1976 movie. Alright folks, that's going to do it for my review of The Town That Dreaded Sundown. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I would love for you to go on this journey with me. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, have a kick-ass day, and thank you for watching. This is for Mary.